Hi all, welcome to session 2 of Milestone Project, and in this session we are going to start building our pipeline. Okay, so let's go to the problem statement one more time. So the first step that we are going to do is copy yesterday's sales files from SFTP location into data lake, and if it is Monday, take Saturday's file. So it's like on Sunday the file is not going to come. So whenever you are running the pipeline on Monday, it should pick up Saturday's file instead of picking or looking for Sunday's file. Okay, now let's start with our data factory studio. Okay, I have to go to my Azure Data Factory resource group. Now we are going to talk about the SFTP location. Okay, so SFTP location can be created by creating a Linux machine and passing the credentials to the data factory from those machines. Okay, so let me spin up a virtual machine in my resource group. I'm going to simply use virtual machine search, virtual machine, create. Okay, so here I'm going to say milestone 1 VM Central India. I don't want any redundancy, so I'm going to remove that. Trusted launch VM, and this is the smallest configuration that we have. So everything will be same here, nothing is going to change. Now in the password I'm going to say Rishabh admin. I think I have already created it, so let me change to project admin. Okay, now I'm going to give the password. Okay, we have to allow SSH connectivity to this VM, so everything is going to be same after our password. Then here we are not going to change anything. Networking is also going to be same. Now we can directly go to review and create. We just have to remember that this machine is going to charge us around 4 rupees every hour. So once we are done with our initial development, we have to either pause this VM or we can delete it, and whenever we want we can recreate it also. So it's not a problem, I will delete it, you can just pause it and then restart it whenever you are going with the next step of the milestone project. So let me just see what is the admin. Admin is project admin. Okay, in the meantime let me just quickly create a sales file. This is not the actual sales file, I am going to create a new sales file, but for now for testing purposes let me just create one. So order ID, order size, order status. The schema and everything will be different, but for now I'm just creating something so that we can test our initial setup. So order ID 1, order size let's say 300 3000 rupees, order status complete. I'm going to keep it as order all files .csv. Okay, fine. VM is ready. Let me go to my resource. I'm going to use WinSCP for connecting to my VM. I will upgrade later. Fine. So I have to give this public IP. Port is going to be same. Project admin login. Yes. and we are connected. So in the right hand side, the window is showing your location, your VM location. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my D drive, and here I'm going to get into the milestone project folder, and here we have order.csv. I'm just simply going to copy paste in my VM. Okay, now we are ready. Let me go back to my home directory, and I'm coming to my resource group. Remember, right now we have started our VM, so VM is charging us. Make sure that once we are done with the session, either you stop the VM or delete the VM. Like creating a new VM hardly takes like 1 2 minutes, so it should not be a big deal. So I would suggest you delete the VM. You should not take risk of leaving your VM running, otherwise it will cost you. Fine. So I'm creating a new folder so that we can club our project pipeline separately. So I'm going to say milestone 1. Okay, and here I'm going to create a new pipeline, and I'm going to say milestone 1 pipeline. Okay, now first step was we need to copy the data from SFTP location to our data lake. Okay, so let me put a copy here. Now I'm going to say copy sales file. Yeah, or I would say copy orders file. Okay, in this source, as you can see, we do not have any SFTP dataset, so we have to create a new dataset here. So I would say SFTP. Since it is a delimited file, we are going to choose delimited text as a file type. I'm going to say ds orders SFTP. Similarly, I don't have any SFTP link service, so I have to create one. Link service orders SFTP. Auto resolve integration runtime. I'm going to pass the IP address of my VM, port 22. You do not need this, so disable it and put your password here. Okay, I am missing the name of my admin for the VM. It was project admin. As you can see, our connection is successful. So I'm going to click on create. It will create a link service, and now it is asking me to provide the directory and the file name. So if I go to my SFTP location, this is our directory. So we have slash home slash project admin. We will improvise it, but right now all I care about is setting up my initial copy activity. So I will make the changes in the future sessions, but right now I just want to get the primary function up and running. And I need orders.csv here, I guess. Yes, order.csv. And we will parameterize everything, so don't worry about it. I am just now going to say okay. Okay, similarly in the sync, I'm going to say this data set, because right now we are using delimited text file and we are going to store it into ADLS, so that is why I'm going to use this one. I'm going to say sync And right now I don't have any folder for our milestone project, so I will say, or let's say I will say a bronze. Okay, so we are fetching our raw data into bronze layer, so we are going to say bronze directory as our sink for this copy activity, and I'm going to say order.csv. Okay, let me validate. Cool. Now I'm going to publish my changes. Your changes are now published, and I'm going to run my pipeline. So this is a skeleton pipeline, I would say. Your copy activity needs a few enhancements to make it production ready, but this pipeline is going to copy our data from SFTP to ADLS. Okay, so that functionality, that objective we have achieved. Now we can improvise it. Your pipeline has run successfully. Let me go to my data factory, and I'm going to check in my resource group. So I'm going to go into containers, going to go into, oh sorry, I have to go to sync container, bronze order.csv. If you go to edit, you can see our file has two lines. One is header, and line number two is a row. Okay, so we have included the copy activity in our pipeline. Okay, now in the next session we are going to improve the copy activity, and we are going to make sure that we are able to include this logic as well. Okay, so that was all for today's session, and let's meet in the next session to build on top of what we have created so far. Okay, and one more thing, before going I am going to delete my pm. So you should do that if you do not want to reuse it, or you can just stop it. It is not going to charge you much after this, but I'm going to delete it because I don't need. So in future if I like recreate it, my public IP address will be different, so just bear that in mind. So if you see a different public IP address for our SFTP connection in ADF, you should remember that I have deleted the VM and recreated it, and because of which I have got a new public IP address. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and let's meet in the next session.